Welcome to South of Left Field. My name is Jimmy, and I'm here again to offer what I happen to see sitting here outside of the playing field of American politics. Actually, sitting as best I can outside of world politics. Welcome to April 1st. The COVID-19 pandemic is in full swing, and many countries in Europe have demonstrated that they're not exactly up to the challenge. Before we dismiss everybody, though, I'm going to include two links down below. And what these links do is provide a little insight into four countries who have done an outstanding job of protecting their citizens and serving their health needs in this time of pandemic. Those four countries are Germany, South Korea, Vietnam, and Taiwan. You'll get some ideas as to how successful governments have prepared for this. Now, not all governments are successful. I saw a Reuters article here today that talked about how, when asked by the EU, the member states of the EU said, "Oh, we're good to go. We don't need to order any extra stocks. We're well supplied, and everybody's been briefed and trained, and we're up for what's coming. We're in good shape." Well, just like the United States, some of them are in good shape and some of them were not. And the United States, of course, is not in good shape either. Even though this pandemic was signaled to the world, everybody saw it coming, weeks of notice, weeks of opportunity to begin ramping up production of things that we were going to need to address this, there's a singular failure to do it. So it remains to be seen how bad things will get here. What does this mean from south of left field? Well, one of the things that the more successful nations all have in common is that their government is far more involved in health care for its population than the United States government is. We still occupy this one lone scrap of land where we alone insist that only business can do the right job, only business can do the right thing. Well, what does business do in a hospital? Well, you don't want to stock too many materials because that just wastes money. You don't want to have more staff than you need to just handle the day-to-day things with small surges. That's a waste of money. You don't need facilities size to handle more than what you might see normally, again, with a small amount of reserve capacity, because anything else is wasteful. I mean, business is out for profit. Nobody starts a business without first answering the question, can I make money? Now think about this for a moment. We've got a pandemic going on. It is causing difficulties for our military. We've got an aircraft carrier that's having to stand down its crew. I mean, this is not a small piece of military hardware. And it's going into the dock in Guam, and it's got to stand down 3/4 of its crew because they've got this COVID running around the crew. This is something that's serious. Our farmers are going to have trouble planting. We're looking at all kinds of dislocations. Our transportation system is under stress. Stores can't seem to keep their shelves stocked. Everybody's running wild buying stuff, and seeing nothing on the shelf encourages you to buy whatever you can lay your hands on. There doesn't seem to be a great deal of faith, and our government hasn't done anything to earn a great deal of faith. Despite all of the trumpeting of the wonderful things that are happening, all these ventilators that are going to be made in 100 days, we don't need them in 100 days. We need them in 30 or less. Gee, great headline, nice photo op, good job. We'll just bury the people that die waiting for those ventilators. No problem. Profits are good. As I said, we've got to get rid of this idea that corporations do everything best. Look, folks, government was created in human societies for a reason. It was created for security. It was created to help protect the tribe or the city or the city-state. Government came about in order to provide law and order, in order to provide a stable society, and in order to provide for the defense of the society. And this defense has to be not just the military. I mean, we've got this nearsighted idea that everything's got to be military. Well, folks, the military is not going to be able to do much about this. The military is not trained for pandemics. They're trained for battlefield casualties, and that's not the same thing. So, those countries that you'll read about if you look at those two links are countries who put some thought and some planning into their medical support to provide their citizens health. And this is one way of protecting a citizen's welfare, is to protect a citizen's health. And remember, America is Americans. You can take away the government, the Americans will build another one. You can take away the military, our population can build another one. You can damage our infrastructure, and Americans can repair that infrastructure and rebuild that infrastructure. But you take away the Americans, and you don't have a country anymore. For us to be effective, we have to believe in our government, and we have to expect our government to see to our welfare. They aren't doing it. We've passed 210,000 cases today and still just zooming right on up the board. They went from, it's not going to be a problem, it'll pass us by, the country will be back to work by Easter, to 1 to 200,000 American citizens are going to die. That's a hell of a shift, pardon my French. That is not the kind of shift you would expect from somebody who is intelligent, sober, and well-informed. No, things are not going that well. And we still have a ways to go to get to the bottom of this road. Folks, it goes back to what I said in What's Your MAGA? America is Americans. It goes back to what I've been hinting at and working on all along, and it is that for the government to do what the founders thought our government was going to do, and that is take care of American citizens, we have to have the voice of American citizens heard in the halls of Congress and in our state houses. And we don't have our voices heard in these institutions because we don't have anybody in these institutions from our class. And yes, I go back to class again. America is a class system. If you don't believe it's a class system, why look right around and look. We divide our homes up by class. You're not going to find somebody putting together a single bedroom small house and putting it in between two McMansions. You're not going to find people of my economic class in these secluded, beautiful neighborhoods. You're not going to find them in gated communities. You're not going to find me riding first class in an airline if I could even afford to fly. No. There are classes in America. There always have been. Our government was founded and organized by the upper class of the 13 colonies. But their vision had the Senate belonging to the upper class, the state houses belonging to the upper class, the presidency belonging to the upper class, and we'll let the lower classes have their voice in the House of Representatives. That was kind of what was going on. The problem is our upper class has taken all of them. And these people in their protected lives, pampered, supplied for, I can guarantee you, none of them have the slightest concern about whether or not they can afford health care. They'll get the finest care. They'll go to the front of the line. They'll throw one of us out into the hall to make room for them. I guarantee it. You have to believe me. I guarantee it. And if you search your heart, I think you know it's true. They have no worries about where their next meal's coming from. They have no worries about whether or not, if there's food shortages, they're not going to run short of food. They're not going to run short of toilet paper. They're not going to run short of medical care. They're not going to be denied a bed. No matter how bad things get, they're going to be taken care of first because they're the upper class. Everything is set up to do that. And because they are so protected and because they're so insulated, they don't understand us. They put on a great show. They sell themselves as We feel your pain. I think it was a Bill Clinton. I feel your pain. No, they don't feel our pain. They haven't felt our pain. They've forgotten what it's like if they ever knew. We will never get our voices heard in Congress until we stop voting for those two damn parties. The Republicans and the Democrats are all upper-class people, working for other upper-class people, funded by upper-class people, putting upper-class people in the state houses and in the halls of our Congress. It's why we have no voice. You know we have no voice. I have heard it from too many people. All kinds of political alignments. Independents, indifferent, don't vote anymore. Republicans, Democrats. I've heard it from everybody. Oh, nobody pays any attention to us once they get up into Washington, D.C. Then why are you voting for them? Same reason I voted for them. I bought the party line. I drank the Kool-Aid. I'm going to be back in another week. We're going to see where we are. I fear for America, and I fear for Americans. We have to exist on 30 cents out of that dollar in wealth. And we have to exist on a similarly low income, which is now being ripped away from us by this pandemic. And our government, which we have no voice in, which we have no representatives in, are throwing us crumbs and telling us that's taking care of us. As time passes, we'll see how everybody feels. I see what they're doing. They're doing the best they can with their limited knowledge and their utter lack of comprehension. But they don't understand. Look at what those 4 countries did. It isn't divided among capitalist and non-capitalist, communist and non-communist. These are 4 quite different countries. These are the 4 success stories. And what they speak to is a government that actually connects with its people, understands its people, and understands their needs. We need to bring that to the halls of Congress, and you're not going to find it in the upper class. Thank you for listening. If you find this at all interesting, please share it, subscribe, hit like. I mean, I don't expect to turn the world around, but I do this because I just want my voice to be heard, and I want the opinions to be heard, and I want people to be willing to step back. Come join me in south of left field. Sign up for some wingnut political party. Vote, but don't vote for the 2 main parties. That'll scare them more than anything else. A significant part of the population not voting for them is their greatest fear. Until next time, thank you for watching.